Uttama-shloke bhakti bhavati naishiki. By regular attendance in the classes of Bhagavatam and by learning of service to the Lord devotee, all that is chosen to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And knowing service under the first line of your Godhead, who is praised in transcendental songs, established as a hero over the path.
Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurun militam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Born in the darkest of ignorance, my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. And one more prayer I very much like. It reminds me that whatever I'm able to do is simply by the mercy of my spiritual master. It goes, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam. It means that one who is mute can speak eloquent verses, and one who is lame and crippled can cross over mountains. So, and this is all done by the mercy of the spiritual master. So whatever one is able to do in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam is simply by the grace of the Guru. So, very happy to be here with all of you. Hare Krishna. We're about why did Lord Ram abandon Sita Devi. I haven't yet researched sufficiently to present it accurately, but there's a very extensive explanation that I'll share. Okay, so we read all together?
You can read one by one or all.
Okay, yeah, let's just read all together. It's just a few. Starting with text 8. Shukadev Goswami continued. Once, while Lord Ramachandra was walking at night incognito, hiding himself by a disguise to find out the people's opinion of himself, he heard a man speaking unfavorably about his wife, Sita Devi. Speaking to his unchaste wife, the man said, "You go to another man's house, and therefore you are unchaste and polluted. I shall not maintain you any more. A henpecked husband like Lord Ram may accept a wife like Sita, who went to another man's house, but I am not henpecked like him, and therefore I shall not accept you again." Sukadeva Goswami said, "Men with a poor fund of knowledge and a heinous character speak nonsensically.
Here such rascals, Lord Ramachandra and his wife, Sita Devi, although she was pregnant, thus Sita Devi went to the ashram of Valmiki.
When the time came, the pregnant mother Sita Devi gave birth to twin sons, later celebrated as Lava and Kusha. Ritualistic ceremonies for their birth were performed by Valmiki Muni. Maharaj Parikshit, Lord Lakshmana had two sons, named Angada and Chitraketu. Lord Bharata also had two sons, named Pushka. Shatrugna had two sons, named Subahu and Shrutasena. When Lord Bharata went to conquer all directions, he had to kill many millions of Gandharvas, who were generally pretenders. Taking all their wealth, he offered it to Lord Ramachandra. Shatrugna also killed a Rakshasa named Lava, who was the son of Madhu Rakshasa. Thus he established in the great forest of Mridanga, town known as Mathura. Forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her two sons into the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, he could not check his grief in transcendental love. The attraction between man and woman, or me and me, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controllers like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them. What to speak of others who are attached to household life in this material world? That's all right. Yeah. Okay. So why did Lord Ram abandon Mother Sita? Why did Lord Ram kill so many Gandharvas who are generally pretenders? I can't explain these things so much, but you can read into it in more detail. And I have not yet read Ramayana. Who here has read Ramayana? Okay. So, in any case, there's very nice philosophical discussion we can get into on verse 17 here. So before we recite the verse, I'd just like to know a little bit about what we're saying. So, Stri Pung Prasanga, so attraction between man and woman or husband and wife. So that's the first line is referring to. Sarvatra Trasam Avaha. This is the cause of fear everywhere. So this conjugal attraction in the material level is creating fear for everyone, everywhere. Even for the great devatas, even for the most exalted beings in the universe, this is a cause of fear. The third line is pointing out. So the fourth line says, what to speak of ordinary people? How much fearful we should be of this attraction. Okay. Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik. Sorry. Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha. Do you know, right?
Apishvarna Kim Uta.
Apishwaranam Kim Uta.
Ramyasya Grihachetasa.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik. Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Apishvaranam Kim Uta.
Apishwaranam Kim Uta.
Gramayasya Grihachetasa.
Gramyasya Grihachetasa.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Apishvaranam Kim Uta.
Apishwaranam Kim Uta.
Ramasya Grihachetasa.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Sarvatra Trasam Avaha.
Apishwaranam Kim Uta.
Apishwaranam Kim Uta.
Gramyasya Grihachetasa.
Gramyasya Grihachetasa.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik.
Sri Pung Prasanga Etadrik. Sarvatra Trasam Avaha. Apishwaranam Kim Uta. Ramyasya Grihachetasa. All right, thank you all. We can do the word for word. We can say it together. Sri Pung Prasanga, attraction between husband and wife, or man and woman. Etadrik, like this. Sarvatra, everywhere. Trasam Avaha, the cause of fear. Api, even. Ishwaranam, of controllers. Kimuta, and what to speak of. Gramyasya, of ordinary men of this material world. Griha Chetasa, who are attached to materialistic household life. In Srila Prabhupada's translation, one more time. The attraction between man and woman, or male and female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controllers like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them. What to speak of others who are attached to household life in this material world? Bruce, can you read the purport, please?
As explained above, when the feelings of love and transcendental bliss from the spiritual world are pervertedly reflected in this material world, they are certainly the cause of bondage. As long as men feel attracted to women in this material world, and women feel attracted to men, the bondage of repeated birth and death will continue. But in the spiritual world, where there is no fear of birth and death, such feelings of separation are the cause of transcendental bliss. In the absolute reality, there are varieties of feelings, but all of them are of the same quality of transcendental bliss.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, this verse we're hearing some essential instructions which we hear again and again and again for good reason. And the first image that comes to mind when hearing this purport is that this material world is said to be like a reflection of the spiritual world. In which chapter of the Gita, Krishna explains? 15th chapter, Krishna says that material life is like this reflection of a banyan tree. And what's the problem with trying to nourish yourself with a reflection? It's not real. Yeah. If we finish class and I say I've got a reflection of a nice breakfast for you, then how excited will you be? You can't actually become satisfied. You can't fill yourself up with a reflection. We need the real substance. And here, Srila Prabhupada is highlighting that actually the love we feel, the attraction we feel, that which is natural for the opposite sex, is coming from Krishna. It's coming from the spiritual world. This is the highest peak of enjoyment, is Radha and Krishna exchanging pure, free, conjugal love. And yet, in the material world, it's perverted. The highest thing in the spiritual world becomes the lowest thing in the material world. There's two different types of relationships Krishna has with the gopis, or the expansions of Radharani. So first off, there's the gopis who expand, then there's the queens of Dwaraka, then there's the Lakshmis. And Krishna has two different types of relationships with these expansions, and those are the wedded love, the swakiya, and then the unwedded love, the parakiya. So in the spiritual world, this unwedded love is actually the highest, because there's no sense of formalities and restrictions. Like in a marriage, there's some dharmic restrictions you have to follow. But in an unwedded romance, then there's no rules. Anything goes. But in the material world, this is considered, not in Canada today, for cultured societies, it's considered abominable to have a illicit relationship outside of marriage ties. It practically is degrading to one's consciousness. And why is it degrading? Well, it binds us to the material conception of life. There's a description of the hard knot in the heart, right? We hear in the Bhagavatam. What's the Sanskrit? Does anyone know the Sanskrit for hard knot in the heart? Karma granti is one term that is used. Karma granti nibandhanam. It said that when you take up the practice of bhakti, gradually the knot in the heart is pierced. You're able to cut. So imagine, like, now we have Bluetooth headphones, but we used to use wired headphones, right? And remember, you'd keep them in your pocket? After somehow, by freak of nature, just automatically they would become all bound up, and you'd have to take so long to undo them, right? And it's like that. It's just being in the material world. It's like we're in the pocket, and we just get bound up automatically being here. And the most binding is this knot in the heart created by the attraction of the opposite sex. Arjuna asks Krishna a question in the Gita. He says, why? Why do we do things that are self-destructive, even though we know that they're self-destructive? Right? We all have things that we do which we know we shouldn't do. And we get so frustrated with ourselves. I know this isn't right. You know, again, there was a feast, and I knew I shouldn't have, extra sweets, and I did it again, and now I feel terrible. And so what is it, Arjuna is saying, that causes this? And Krishna says?
Lust.
It's lust only. Yeah. Anyone know the verse? Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. Yeah? Anyone know? Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. It comes from the mode of passion. And it leads to Krodha. If lust is not curtailed, then it can turn into wrath. It's a very destructive wrath. Rajoguna Samudbhava. Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Iha Vairanam. It's the greatest enemy of the soul. And it's Mahapapma. It's the most sinful Mahapapma. So this is the cause of our doing things which is self-destructive, because we are bound by the tie of a lust. And there's also a sequence Krishna gives earlier in the Gita of how we fall down. And does anyone know the sequence of fall down? It begins with contemplation of the objects of the sense, dhyayato vishayam. We're thinking of the objects of the sense. Ooh, that's a bit. So it could be the opposite sex. It could be some shoes in the window on Avenue Road. We go for japa walks, so we have to be careful not to go shopping. We're supposed to be shopping for prema. Here we are shopping for Adidas. We're supposed to be shopping for Adidas, not Adidas. So we become contemplative about some attractive object, and then what happens?
Attached.
We become attached to that thing. I really want that. And we become upset if we can't get it. So this attachment leads to anger. Oh, sorry, first lust. Yeah, so this attachment becomes very strong. I've got to have that. And, if you really want something, like I can think of myself, I'm really hungry on Janmashtami. Fasting all day. We're just about to break fast. And then, there's a long line, and I just... You don't want to wait. You're so attached to getting... And then actually you become a little, maybe regretful. Oh man, I can't believe I was so animalistic. I thought I was a good saint all day long, fasting, and then here comes the object of my enjoyment and can't control my senses. So yes, we become very attached, and it can turn into anger or even wrath. And then this leads to loss of intelligence comes first. Buddhi nasho, yeah. Our intelligence is destroyed. And then we can't make proper decisions. So it makes sense why lust leads to doing things that aren't good for us, because if we have proper intelligence, then we'll choose the thing that's right, that's good for us. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu eloquently said that as we advance in bhakti, what we want to do and what we do become closer. Isn't that interesting? What we want to do, I want to chant 16 rounds. I want to not scroll on social media. I want to fast on Ekadashi. I want to read Prabhupada's books every day. We have these very nice desires that we cultivate from the association of devotees. And yet what we want to do and what we actually do are in discord. And then we feel disappointed. And this is because we are in the mode of passion. Rajoguna samudbhava, Krishna says. Our problem is that we're contaminated by passion. And when you're in Toronto, it's very hard to escape the mode of passion. So our intelligence becomes destroyed, we make wrong decisions, and then our memory is lost. We can't even remember the times when we felt great joy making the right decision. Like you all experience, when you do some austerity, you feel satisfaction. Like taking a cold shower, for example, is hard to do. But afterwards, how do you feel? Or going out for book distribution. Like just yesterday, Bruce and I went over to Trinity Bellwoods, and I was really mental. I've been doing this service for so many years, and yet still, I get so mental about it. And I was delaying. I had a snack in the car. I had to go park, and I just enjoy, okay, I'm just going to have a snack and bide my time a little bit. I've got some WhatsApp messages to check, and making up all these excuses why I should not just go out and do my service. And then eventually, okay, I'm here to do a service. Why am I wasting my time? So I go out. The thing is, we can't remember. We lose our memory about all, and then after I got into the flow, it was the most ecstatic experience. I felt so surcharged with spiritual empowerment, and I was able to meet amazing people by the grace of Guru, and people who really were, quite a few, 3 or 4 different people who were really touched by someone being out trying to share this message of Bhagavad Gita. But we can't remember the great joy we've had when we're contaminated with lust and we indulge, we become covered over. Krishna gives these different analogies of being covered, right? And you all know these analogies? We become covered like what? Like fire is covered with smoke. Or we become covered like...
Sun is covered with clouds.
Is that given there? That's a nice analogy also, but I don't know if it's there. The embryo covered by the womb, and there's one more. But that's a good one too. Monil Prabhu, yeah. We become covered over with lust in different degrees. And once our memory is lost, then bloop. Then you fall back. Can we get a sound effect? Something like that. Then bloop, you fall back into the material pool. So this is the great danger of coming under the sway of the mode of passion and falling into lust. Therefore, we have this system of ashram dharma, which begins with celibacy. It begins with brahmacharya. And this is the program of Bhakti Academy, is the most fortunate souls in Toronto are in this room who get the opportunity to spend even a short time. Some are able to stay just 1 semester, and that will be the best semester perhaps of their life. And they'll always remember the joy they felt in that time. Because for one, the drama of being embroiled in romance is unparalleled. It's like non-stop anxiety. If you haven't experienced it, all glories to you. If you have experienced it, you know what I'm speaking about. We have this obsession with another person, and then we have fear of what if something goes wrong in the relationship. There's so much drama. And how can we focus on our self-realization if we're constantly absorbed in thinking about this dramatic romance that we're involved in? And it's so difficult because there are, who knows how, actually, can someone look up the figure? How much does Bollywood and Hollywood, what's the industry size? Can someone check the statistic just so we can get a sense? There are people who are getting paid enormous amounts of money to make movies and TV shows which will pollute our minds with the mode of passion. Even it's so degraded in Bollywood that they'll make like Radha and Krishna movies, right? Which are, I hope we never have to come in contact with that media. What's the size of the... Anyway, it's trillions of dollars, I'm sure. And so you have to think that, you got the figure, Monil?
Yes, $1.9 billion. It was just
What,
yesterday,
Bollywood's
1 year.
Bollywood?
Yes, Bollywood is
$1.9 billion
$1
in a year.
In a year.
And then there's Hollywood, and these are just two parts of the world. So there's so much money, so much force going into creating this pollution, which is flooding, and not just TV shows and movies, but and not even people who are paid, just average people on TikTok and Instagram are making illicit content or even suggestive content to it because that's how you get views. You know, advertising companies know this. That's why they put attractive women on billboards, because then people will look at their ad and buy their product. So we have this like tidal wave of lustful content, you know, just bombarding us. And how dangerous of a position are we in? How insignificant am I to overcome the force of this world? And Krishna explains the situation. He says, there's a verse, Maya is very powerful. Can someone quote the verse? I'm trying to quiz you all on your Bhakti Shastri knowledge. So far, not very good. Yeah? Pratyaya, yes. Mam eva ye prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. Yes. It is very difficult to overcome this Maya Shakti. Daivi hiesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. It's very difficult to overcome this Maya Shakti. But mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. By taking shelter of Krishna, we can overcome it. So we can now move into the positive. We've heard the danger. We have to know, we have to wake up a little bit that, okay, I'm not just in a comfortable situation. I can't kick back, and Vaishesh Prabhu says, kapaleen. There's this expression where you're driving down the highway, you've got your nice convertible car, you're wealthy, you know, you've got your beautiful wife in the passenger seat, and the weather's nice, you're in California, and you're holding just one hand on the wheel, and you kapaleen. You put your arm out on the side, and I've made it. It's true, right? That's the image of a perfect life, is kapaleen, nice car, beautiful spouse, money in the bank, I'm good. But at any second, it can be taken. All of that can be taken from us. I just met a man yesterday at Trinity Bellwoods. He was a Muslim man from Guyana. And he revealed to me that he had recently lost everything. He seemed like he was an affluent person, and somehow through some cryptocurrency scam, all of his savings, someone stole. Everything. And he had gone through a divorce recently, and that also, he lost his wife, he lost his wealth there. And his car, he had parked on the side of the road somewhere in Toronto, and he said that a TTC vehicle smashed it, destroyed his car. So he lost everything. And yet, he was okay. he had this serene sense about him, and he took some books very gratefully. Although he was Muslim, he said he'd been open, this suffering he'd gone through opened his mind to something more in life. And so he is exemplifying what Krishna is saying, that for those who take shelter of me, Maya is actually very easy to overcome. So all of the self-destructive habits that we get lost in, all of the suffering we have to experience as a result of our attachment to this world, our misdeeds, we can quickly overcome it by the grace of Krishna. It's explained by Srila Prabhupada in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam that Krishna is like a surgeon, and he expertly removes the attachments we have, the enjoying spirit in this world. This verse, Lord Brahma speaks, Tattenu kampam susamikshama, that a devotee is earnestly waiting for the mercy of Krishna, because the devotee knows this, that Krishna is my supreme doctor, and he, through the suffering in my life, whatever difficulty I'm experiencing right now, Susamikshama bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam, atma kritam, it's done by one's own self. I have done this. I've created my own suffering. I can't blame anyone else. I can't blame the temple president. I can't blame my ashram leader. I can't blame my parents. I can't blame my boss. Whatever suffering I'm experiencing is my fault. The devotee humbly understands this. And they know that Krishna is so expert. And what he's giving me in my life right now, whatever pain I have to go through, is specifically designed, Prabhupada writes like this, it's specifically designed to curtail the mentality that produced it. So it's the medicine that's just right. In today's world, we get antibiotics, and it's just like an atomic bomb. Even also in warfare today, we have these horribly imprecise weapons. It's such a tragedy that we drop these destructive chemicals, and it kills so many innocent people. You're trying to kill one terrorist in one place, and you accidentally kill so many others. But the Brahmastra that Ashwatthama threw, Prabhupada describes, it's like an atomic bomb, but you can throw it only at one person. And so our modern day pharmaceuticals are like an atomic bomb. Throw it into your mouth and then destroys your immune system. But it kills the virus too. So Krishna is not like that. Krishna's medicine, the reactions he's giving us in our life are perfect. It's exactly precise, and will get to the root of our issue. And the root of our issue is Stri Pung Prasanga. We have so much attachment to be with the opposite sex. And so this Bhakti Academy training is essential. Some are able to be a very nice devotee without this training, but for most of us, we need to have this time where we're seriously learning to control our senses, seriously learning to develop a taste for Krishna consciousness, because that's the only thing that can save us, is having a higher taste, right? Param drishtva nivartate. We have to get some higher enjoyment. And in the material world, there is no higher enjoyment than Stri Pung Prasanga. So if we don't have a taste for Krishna Bhakti, we will have to take shelter of this material, the highest pleasure, especially in this world which is bombarding us with illicit media. So let us take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, let us take shelter of the whole process that Srila Prabhupada has so kindly given us, chanting our rounds nicely together, following the principles strictly, discussing together in our free time what we have heard in classes, hearing lectures, and ultimately taking shelter of the pure devotees of Krishna and serving them and receiving their blessings. That is really the only way we will make progress, is by their blessings. That's the only way we can get a taste for Krishna Bhakti, is by the grace of a pure devotee of Krishna. by their blessings. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for allowing me to share something. And would thoughts and questions come up on this subject? Yes, Mona.
Thank you so much for beautifully explaining how this lust actually entangles us, and it's like the only way to get out is to get some higher peace. And my question is that we've seen that some devotees or some people they get the higher taste, they experience some of it, but then somehow they again fall into that lower tendencies. So how can we understand that? By experiencing the higher taste also still they are attracted to the lower tendencies.
Yeah. Well, association perhaps is the most essential. Is if we associate with. So Rupa Goswami, he explains in the positive and in the negative, in the Nectar of Instruction, that we need to both take the association of devotees and we need to abandon the association of materialists. So if we, although starting the practice of sadhana bhakti seriously, maintain strong, deep connections with materialistic people, we will be pulled back into materialistic ways. So it's not that we just reject and abandon people from before our Krishna conscious life, but we're very circumspect about what association will be favorable and which will be unfavorable for my bhakti. So we have to carefully consider our association. And on the other hand, when we're in the association of sincere sadhakas, we will make mistakes and they will encourage us. There's a beautiful verse. I would love if you can find it. Anyway, I'll just give the essence, is that Krishna is explaining in the 11th canto that although a sincere devotee will have some struggle, they repent their mistake and they sincerely go on and basically they continue to practice because they understand api chet sudoracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantyavya samyak vyavaseto hisa. That even if one does the most abominable activity, if they're just in the right consciousness, if they're sincerely trying to serve Krishna, Krishna forgives. Krishna is not concerned. And empathetic, mature devotees will also forgive. And they understand, yeah. How many lifetimes have we been cultivating materialistic desires? It's no wonder when we struggle. So we need to find mature association, empathetic association. And not become beat down by shame. We need to open our heart, reveal our mind about our struggles to mature devotees who won't judge us, devotees who are empathetic and can understand and encourage us despite our faults. So that's essential. Yeah.
To follow up question on that, say we have to open our hearts. It's very, very important to reveal our minds, our heart to someone can actually help us. But sometimes we don't do that. What are some blockages? Why do some of us we're not able to reveal our hearts or not able to take that advice?
That's such a thoughtful question. Why don't we reveal our heart? Well, I can share, but I'm sure you all have other insights because we've all experienced this. One thing is we think someone won't have time for me. I don't want to approach this, devotee I respect and I trust because I don't think they'll have time. So we have to understand the devotees care. Even someone, like Vaisheshika Prabhu, for example, he'll come and visit here, Keshava Swami. If you're really sincerely needing help and you approach them, they'll give you time. So we just think that they won't give us time. We have to learn we have to experience how compassionate Krishna's devotees really are. And even just 5 minutes could change our life. So that's one reason. Also, we're maybe afraid that they will react in the same way that others have reacted in the past. We're a bit traumatized. You know, in the past, we would open up our hearts to a friend, and they'd say, you know, they'd laugh at us. Oh, you're struggling with that, you loser. No, we've experienced that. Or maybe we've been bullied. Or maybe our parents have spoken, or our teachers have spoken to us in a very, they've shamed us, guilt-tripped us. And so we're used to people acting in that way. And so our conditioning, that's the way, even pure devotees, we look at them with contaminated lenses. So that's why Vedegai, how does it go? Vedegai Jahara Charito. The Vedic scriptures sing of the character of pure devotees. So by hearing the Shastra, we hear what pure devotees are actually like, and it cleanses our vision. These are two reasons I can see. What are other reasons? Why don't we reveal our mind to work through our problems? You don't have to say about yourself necessarily, you can just say philosophically. Or in general, why don't we reveal our mind? Even though we're struggling, and even though we know there are people who can help us. Yeah?
Sometimes we don't want to go through that cleansing process because it's difficult.
We don't want to experience pain. Yeah, that might be the root, is we don't want to feel pain. Because we're afraid someone will judge us, and that will be painful. Or we're afraid someone will reject us, and that will be painful. Or we just don't want to go through the difficulty, the hard work of digging into our heart, of bringing it out, all of the gunk, all the anarthas. Yeah, it's difficult work. And Prabhupada describes that a life of Krishna consciousness and a comfortable life go ill together. So if we want a comfortable life, then we're in the wrong place. We won't be able to make spiritual advancement if we want a comfortable life. Taking on some austerity is essential. If we don't take on austerity, we will experience it. You can do it the easy way, or you can do it the hard way. Right? Krishna calls his cows with his flute first, so beautifully. Well, he also calls them by name. So he's so personal. Krishna will, all of his cows, he has these jeweled beads, one for each cow, and lovingly call each of them. But then it's described that he also, if they don't come in that way, he's got what? He's got a stick. He's got a rope. So, do we want to become perfected devotees the hard way and get dragged? We can do that. Prabhupada describes that Krishna will drag the sincere devotee back home, back to Godhead. But it could take many lifetimes. Or we can say, yes, this will be hard work. Let me just swallow the bitter pill and go on. Yeah. Other thoughts? Yeah, Devanshi.
Sometimes I feel that we don't reach out because we haven't reached that bottom point yet, like the rock bottom, and things are kind of uncomfortable but also comfortable at the same time.
Can you pull up the picture? Sorry, I want to let you finish your thought. There's a beautiful image describing exactly what you're saying. It's like a cartoon, a meme of this character, like a bear or something, in a house that's on fire. Maybe it's a dog. And he's saying, everything's fine. You'll have seen this, yeah. So we're in this situation where it's bad, but it's not that bad. Yeah.
But actually it is bad, we're just not seeing it.
Yeah. Yes. So that's why we don't approach. We haven't yet hit rock bottom. You haven't? I always think of it. Oh no, that's one of them. Sure. That's not the same mood. He's like, whatever. There's another one. Anyway. We haven't yet hit rock bottom. So that's the thing, is we have to use our intelligence and see, okay, my house is on fire. My material life is, that's the one, yeah. This is fine. You can see it by his eyes, he's very dull. So we shouldn't be a dull materialist and just say like, yeah, I'm going to die. It could happen any day, but this is fine. How dull. And we become dulled down especially by stripung prasanga, by this contamination. We just become animalistic more and more. You know, actually to be on the human platform, we have to follow the four regulative principles. If we're not following the four regulative principles, we have not yet even come to living like a civilized human being. What to speak of being a Vaishnava. So yes, we need to carefully sharpen our intelligence so this doesn't happen to us. And how do we sharpen our intelligence? One essential way is by seriously hearing and discussing the Shastra. We develop vision of Shastra, Shastra Chakshu. And then we see, not in this way, but we see the world is on fire and this is not fine. We sing every morning about the forest fire of material existence, so let us not forget the situation we're in. And we have this fire in our own hearts of lust, burning us from the inside. It's not fine. We're in trouble. Yeah. That's an expanded one, okay. Yeah, so that's how we should feel. I've never seen the expanded version. Yeah. So devotees will go through the dark night of the soul. We'll realize the way I've been living is not right. I need to make a change. Other thoughts? Some takeaway, something you heard. Let's hear one more takeaway from this discussion. Yes, Bruce.
I want to say, you said that we need a higher taste than that attraction to the opposite sex. So we need a higher taste, and that higher taste is Krishna consciousness. And the way to get that higher taste is to pure devotees. That's when we try to make that connection.
Yeah. 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 That's it. That's the secret. Keep good association. Yes, Prabhu. It's Himanshu, right?
Yes. How to know someone, like if we share things with the person, he will not judge us.
Yeah. And there's a feeling you can pick up. You can see someone's facial expressions. You say something a little revealing, and maybe they go like this. Someone who's got a expanded consciousness, they won't be as shocked by things like this. Some disturbance we have in our spiritual life. Okay, like in an ocean, what is one little drop of poison? But in a small cup of water, one drop of poison will kill you. So we need someone with a broad mind who can absorb difficulties and anarthas. And so we can start just revealing something small and seeing how someone behaves, and also establish a confidential space. We can directly say, can you please keep this only between us? When we have these heart-to-heart talks, can we please just keep it between the two of us? That's essential. Yeah. It takes time to build these types of relationships. Okay. And just final, very brief point, I think it's important to always remember that Grihastha ashram is glorious, and in Krishna conscious marriage, where Krishna is in the center, then it is not degrading, it's the opposite, it's elevating. So this Bhakti Academy training will lead to most graduates going into Grihastha ashram. And if your training is done well here, you will do very nicely in Grihastha ashram, as long as you can keep Krishna in the center, keep strong sadhana, strong association, and then your material life won't trouble you. You'll use it all as fuel for going closer to Krishna. Our great acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, most of Lord Chaitanya's associates were grihasthas, so we should remember that. But if someone has the inclination to go on without marriage, then it's you avoid a lot of troubles, and you can live simply and just focus on studying and sharing bhakti. But we all have our own unique path to follow, and there's no right or wrong or better or worse. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.